Okay, thank you. Welcome to this is my Collin, episode 3, I think. So we haven't recorded in a few weeks because we've been busy. First was the Riot Festival. I got in a festival a few months ago, and it finally happened. Did a bunch of shows that I'd never done those types of shows before. I met a lot of people. It was a competition, which was kind of weird. So every person you met, you're like friendly and making connections, but also you were competing against them, which I'm not good at separating that in my brain.
You have to be.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just not good at it. I was nice to everyone and I made friends and stuff, but I'm just like in my head, I'm like,
you should talk to your therapist about that.
I'm going back to. I went back to therapy for the first time in like 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about a lot because that was before the Kill Tony stuff, so there was a lot to unpack there. And she was not familiar with the show, which was probably good.
Yeah, if I was someone's therapist and they were like, I went on Kill Tony, I'd be like, I think we need to schedule some more sessions.
I feel like therapists are generally not super into Kill Tony, although I feel like Kill Tony people should probably be going to therapy.
A mess of Kill Tony therapist fans.
Yeah. So in the competition, I did the first round was in 2 heats, or whatever, and I made it out of the first round, and I did a You Look Like tournament, which I'd never done one of those before. Can you explain what that is? It's
a roast competition show where all the roasts are set up to be, you look like blank, blank, blank. And it's 3 rounds where you go against a person that you were assigned like a month prior, so it gives you time to write. And then the second round, you roast an audience member, whoever is the winners of the first round. And then the 2 people who did the best during that round compete for like the final title.
Yes, and I'd never done that, and I advanced in the first round. You look like ed teacher who learns more than the kids.
You look like a peeping Tom.
You look like if Mario was Puerto Rican.
You look like the main character in A Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
You look like if a Build-A-Bear wished to be a real boy.
You look like you were talked out of being a school shooter.
You look like when you say the N-word, the whole room goes quiet. And then we had to roast an audience member, and I made you help me write the roast, and then I didn't use
you made me help you write the roast for
everything.
For everything. I wrote the majority of your first round roast.
And then we both wrote roast for the audience member, and then I ended up not using any of yours.
Mm-hmm. And you still made it.
I still made the finals. No, it's because I did that I made it. Oh, she's gonna be mad at me. Okay.
And you didn't even introduce me.
Hi, this is Timely Rain. This is her. You're on a graphic at the beginning of the podcast.
It says Passport Girl.
Yes, Passport Girl. That people can tell that though. Okay, so I did the You Look Like. I made the final round. I got owned really badly in the final round by Scott Fillmore.
You played the flute in the Civil War band. Lock 'em up, boys.
You look like you did the festival for the barbecue.
That's true. You look like you write fan mail to the Joker, and he wrote you back and told you to chill the out. I want to burn it all down, but Jesus Christ.
You look like you hang out at pawn shops to meet guys.
They're at their lowest, desperate, very desperate. You look like the first homeschool kid to be a school shooter. Mom, you've always been nice to me. Don't come to class tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you got something to say?
No, he did. He did good, and you did great. You did absolutely great.
Yeah,
but he did good. He won that for sure.
He won fair.
He for sure won it.
So that was You Look Like. I also did a spit take, which But I didn't actually have to do the spit take thing. Have you ever done the spit take thing?
Yeah, I've showed you my reel from that, where
Is that where you just stared at a lady?
it was a little gay man.
Is it close enough?
Well,
Whale?
look, I just stared at him for like 30 seconds, and then I like kind of screamed, and then I pulled a fake sandwich out of my pocket that he didn't know was there, after asking if he wanted to hit my vape.
Let's see. Do you want to hit my vape? Do you want to hit my sandwich? We're going to go back to staring. Let's see if this
I made him spit out the water.
Okay, so you turned to prop comedy.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Everyone else was doing like their worst joke, trying to get somebody to spit, and it's just like these people angrily holding water, looking at you like
their worst joke, like their most offensive.
Yeah, like their most offensive, or like their most like inappropriate or dirty, like
That would
trying to
be-
get like some shock factor, and
would
like,
be my
but since the
strategy.
mindset was already there, like
Yeah.
those people were ready to lock in and like
Yeah.
not give that to you. And if I think you turn your brain to that, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna. I was like, hey man, do you want to hit my vape? And then I was like. He said no, and I like pulled from my other pocket. Do you want to hit my sandwich? And then lost him, broke him.
That's pretty good. So I didn't have to do that, thank God. I just had to like do a set and I guess like warm up the crowd or like something like that. So that was fine. I think they knew like Collin doesn't want to do this. I just want to do stand up. I don't want to play games, you know. I like, you know, I write jokes at home and then I go to a place and I tell them. That's what I like doing. Okay. And then so first round was in 2 heats, made it to the semifinals or the conference finals. I don't know. It's the round before the finals. And that took place on a Saturday night at the Riot. So first round was at two stages at what's it called? Stages in Houston. That was a pretty cool venue. I did get lost backstage briefly. That's fine.
Who'd you see backstage?
I saw lots of people backstage, but when I was lost, I saw no one backstage. That was the problem. I was just wandering the halls, and I was like first in the lineup, and I was like, because I was in the green room, and I was like, I need to find the stage because I'm going on like now. I don't even think I told you about that. I was very stressed out. Those two were at stages, and then the semifinals were at the Riot, and that was like, or the night before was You Look Like, and I remember saying like, this is the most crowded I've ever seen this place. And then the night after that, I think it might have been even more crowded for the semifinals because it was a Saturday night, and I did pretty well at the semifinals. I think
You did great every
was
single
like,
night that you performed.
I think there was 8 people in the semifinals, and we were all supposed to do like, 10 minutes each. That sound right? And I had a good spot. I was like 6th or something, and I ended up getting like 3rd in the semifinals, and I made it to the finals. And the finals were just like 4 or 5 people, and we all did 15 minutes each. And I did not win. I'll put it that way. It was sort of anticlimactic because Saturday night was like the most crowded I've ever seen it, and then Sunday night it was just like a normal Sunday 6 o'clock show, which is not the most happening show of all time. So it was just sort of weird, but it was pretty fun. My favorite show from the festival was the Cancel Culture, and I think that was the first night. But the point of that was basically you do your most offensive material.
I used to date an anorexic girl, and she was really insecure about her weight, and I told her, you can, I would still be attracted to you, even if you weighed in the triple digits. As long as the first digit's like a 1. The second digit's like a 3 or 4, Maybe get back down to a 2 or 3 during the summer, You don't want to embarrass me, right? They told me I could do these jokes. I'm like, hell yeah. Never done that one before. So a lot of girls I dated had a self-harm scar. So.
Which means I just had an excuse to do the jokes that I've been putting off doing for
That was
a long
really fun.
time.
Yeah, they were
that
really
was
fun.
yeah. And some people were like, we're not really gonna, and it was a sort of smaller crowd, so like we're not really just gonna do a bunch of our most offensive stuff just for just because it's that type of show for these, because a lot of the crowd was like elderly people, and I was like, no, I'm gonna do them.
What didn't I tell you, like, was that when you did the pie shop for the first time?
When I think the pie shop, that was at your show. After the festival, I was so burned out of comedy. I was.
Oh yeah, that is
so
what I wanted to talk about.
So during the festival,
he lost. He got
I was not at my
in
best.
his feels, and he was used to winning.
Well, it's not. No, it wasn't about losing. By the time I lost the finals, I was relieved. That's true because you saw me in the lead up to that. Come on.
I know that's true, but it's also you rename things as different opinions. Sometimes you're like, I wasn't nervous, I was nauseous. That's still being nauseous. It's still being
You talking about the
nervous.
Kill Tony thing?
Yeah,
I wasn't nervous. I had adrenaline.
I know,
that's not
but
the
that's
same
your
thing.
manifestation of
Okay.
that.
That's not really the point. The point is, during the festival, it was a tournament. It was a competition, and I wanted to make the finals.
Yeah, and you did.
There was a lot of stress. Okay, and you were the person who had to deal with that.
I got the brunt of it a lot.
There was some intensity that weekend, so I had to. Once that was over, I had to, apologize or whatever, because I can be intense. Okay, well, whatever. So, but Sunday night, I remember it was after the finals were over. And I was just so sick of going on stage and thinking about going on stage and looking over all these different set lists, because I did different material. That's the thing. This was cool. People at the festival recognized me and they wanted to take pictures.
Yeah.
Not a ton, but a fair amount.
Well, it was.
I mean, it was a comedy festival. These are comedy fans. They're
people like, dude, you're that golden ticket guy. Are
and
you
Hans
Collin?
Kim was at the festival, and I had to record something for some Instagram reel or something, and so at the Hans Kim show I was just waiting around, and when people walked by, of course they're gonna know me.
It was cool. That was really
I was
cool.
just sitting in the audience at the Hans Kim just watching, and like when I walked in or walked out, like one guy was just like doing that to me. He's like, come here. It's like, I'll be outside, just So that was cool to meet people.
And I feel like there was also like a few of those people being like, around you being like, "Is that Passport Girl?"
Yes,
And I was like, "Oh my
people
god!"
were recognizing Passport Girl just by the vibe.
By the vibe and my proximity to you.
Yeah. So, was it someone from your life recognized me?
Yeah, someone
what was the
like
story
my
there?
old friend just saw that on Kill Tony, and I guess knew because he saw me. We saw like on Instagram. Was like, "Are you the Passport Girl?"
Yeah.
I haven't heard from him in like 5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I knew it was you. It couldn't have been anyone else." I'm like, "Well, my reputation, I guess, precedes me."
Yeah. I was about to say, it wasn't the dumbest thing any of our friends have done in the last few months, but it still might be. I think you might.
I think missing the
might have the crown.
5 a.m. flight.
Well, I think yours could have had worse consequences.
Mine didn't cost me any money.
That is true. So there was a tournament, and we were talking about when did I do. So I'll just say this is the joke. No, it doesn't matter. The joke is, my friend's really into intermittent
Fasting, so he's trying to lose weight, which just means you eat all your food in a small window, Unfortunately, it's the window to a pie shop.
My lamest joke I can think of, and it was the pie shop joke, and it did pretty well. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess comedy's fun. So that was the
And it was
context
fun
of the pie
having
shop.
all the people.
And your mom was there too. So I was like, I have to do something. I'm not doing something that I did at the festival because I'm sick of those jokes, and I'm not doing something.
All that's left are my rape jokes, and I can't do those in front of Timely's mom.
Well, I did the rape jokes at the festival, so
Yeah, so
that was the cancel culture
yeah.
thing. Actually, cancel culture, it's a lot of just my regular jokes plus some really fat phobic stuff that makes me uncomfortable to tell. So yeah, that's.
And very racist against Chinese people.
Oh yeah, I do have a few of those. Spoiler, we're gonna cut that. We can't know against which race my jokes are the most racist.
Just watch, you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. You know, it'll come out in the long term.
I think no, I was gonna say it was fun having like some of the people too that had
Oh yeah, we had
gotten
people from the
disqualified
festival.
like on the competition that came and did my show and gave them like longer sets and were able to see them like in a different venue, and there were some like they were like from all over Canada and LA, and so that was a good weekend.
It
for
was
everybody.
really fun to meet people.
Yeah, and Nina was like, "Guys, I get to do a show, and there's gay people here at this show," and I was like, "That is the tagline. That's good advertisement."
There's gay people at your show.
There is. It's you. Sorry. We both get one.
Okay. What else did we do? We've been to Lafayette, but that was before rec. We're going tomorrow to Lafayette.
Mm-hmm.
Been to Austin a couple times. Green Room. So we go to this place, the Green Room, and they have weed drinks,
Oh yeah.
and
dude.
I don't believe in that.
What do you mean?
That doesn't. No, so alcohol drinks, you mix the drinks to sort of make the alcohol taste
Why
good.
wouldn't you want your lemonade to get you high?
Well, I'm just
Like,
saying.
what's your
just
problem?
get a lemonade, and then take a gummy or take some oil. It's the same
Why?
thing.
That's two things when you could do one thing.
But it's the same thing.
No, it's
You can
not.
just. You can control the ratio.
You can control the ratio when you make a weed.
Aren't.
Okay, you've drank a
They
lot of
just
weed
don't-
drinks for someone who's talking shit about weed drinks.
They're good, but my point is the weed isn't what makes them good. You can just drink a fruity drink. I feel like it's just there's no reason for it to exist.
That is so inaccurate. One of the reasons I think, like this weed drink is because you can sip on it. So you're continuously getting high for a longer period of time without smoking, which you don't do. So it is a good alternative to smoking if you want to continuously get a little bit of high. And you already, if you're saying you don't know how much is in it, you fucking measure it. And he's like, oh, there's 15 milligrams in this lemonade. Cool. I can drink 15 milligrams over a 30-minute period. That sounds like some Collin math that you'd love to get into.
It would never be a 30-minute period. That may as well just be a gummy. But
No.
I think you're onto something with the timing aspect. Drinking it slower over a period of time. Although then the gummies
And
get all gross. And
it's
you
also
get
like
attitude.
it's the autism of where it's like you go out to enjoy something with your friends that is an inebriating substance, and so it
Yeah.
used to be alcohol, and you want to do it for a long period of time. And so if we don't want to get super fucking high at the beginning of us hanging out and be like blasted, but we want to hang out, get loose like that, that's what it's a social lubricant.
Social lubricant. That's just alcohol. I don't.
Some people don't drink alcohol, so THC is an alternative.
It makes less sense than alcoholic drinks. Can you say that?
No, I would, if the world had weed drinks instead of alcohol, I would be way less of a problem.
Well, that's not a argument against, alcoholic drinks. It's an argument against alcohol.
What is the difference?
The difference is weed does not have to be delivered in a drink the same way that alcohol does.
Who cares?
Okay. What else? We went to Colorado. That was we went to Gnarly's.
Yeah, I was traveling out of
in
state for your
Golden,
comedy for
Colorado.
the first time.
That was I
What did you think
traveled
it
to
was gonna-
Lafayette. That's out of state. But
Oh yeah, that's true.
was
We've
different.
been flying, yeah.
That was I didn't really feel as much pressure as I thought I would,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I sort of wish I would get more nervous.
I feel that so much. Like, I don't know, when I travel outside to do comedy of Houston, it's not like that I feel like nervous or whatever. I feel nervous here for some reason, but as soon as I leave, it's more like, this has to fucking work. I spent so much or like Reese or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna fucking spend all this time to come out here and fucking bomb. And like, that clicks in my head so fast and easy. And then in Houston, I'm like, I'm fucking nervous. There's 100 things. So
You went first, right?
yeah, I went first after the host.
I think it was pretty much unanimous. You had like the best set.
I know David told me that, or John said that last night, and I was like, well, I wasn't gonna say it, but it feels good.
Yeah, it was true.
It was fun. I was like nervous because I've been saying for years that all I want for my birthday is to do comedy in a blue state. And Mike gave that to me, and I'm like, and I don't think I did the thing where like sometimes Southern liberals go outside and like become Republican, but I did slightly. And I said faggots, and they said it wasn't gonna work, but it worked.
And this one issue I have just hanging out with you in Houston is like, I'll just be talking to you, and then people just come up and be like, "Hi, Timely, it's me from middle school," and it just gets super annoying. And so we're in freaking Colorado, and we're waiting in line to get a drink, and then it's like, "Hey, Timely, it's me," and I'm like, "Oh, great."
Yeah, there was like it does feel nice that every
multiple
time
people there.
that every time I do happen to leave and I get nervous, like I won't know anybody there, and then there's like already people. But the same shit could be said for you, and I think that's one of the reasons why we get along, because we can't fucking go anywhere down 6th Street or anywhere really without someone being like, "Dude, are you calling from Kill Tony?" And so that's why I always say, like, you and me know everybody in the room, but exactly the different people who know you don't recognize me, and people who recognize me don't know you.
I remember at the festival, people would be like, it's like one person said, you seem so nice in person, and I was just like, don't I seem nice in general?
No.
I am nice, and I'm very. It's like, well, he's, you know, someone on some comments is like, I met this guy. He was actually like, you know, friendly, and it seemed he was happy that, you know,
it's like he didn't slit my throat and drain my blood.
And it's like, yeah, I want positive attention. I don't know. You give it to me, I'm not gonna be like, fuck you. I don't know.
Unless you're me.
Well, that's whatever. So the point is, we went to Colorado. You went first, and then it was John Meyer.
Yeah, then John, then David. No, it was David, then John, then Mike, then you.
Like, and they did have an intermission.
Yeah, they did have an intermission.
So they had a local comic who just did time while people went out to get drinks, and that's something they said they do because they want to sell more drinks. They want to give people the opportunity, because they don't have like people coming in to sell drinks. They have to like.
But yeah, it's a seated theater, and they don't have a bar inside the theater, so that makes sense to me. Like, if you don't have the bar in the same room.
And I thought that would sort of mess up the momentum of the show, but it didn't that much. I think Mike had a really good set. My set was okay. I did have a little snag apparently that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
These ladies were talking. This couple was talking during his set, and this other woman that was in the front row on the other side of the chairs.
My set was 30 minutes.
Yeah, he did 30 minutes. He headlined.
This happened like
15, 20 minutes. 20 minutes in. They'd been talking the whole time. Collin has no idea. And the lady was like, "Hey, can y'all take y'all's conversation out of here?" And the couple was like, "Okay." And then they left, and Collin will include it here.
Sorry for bothering you.
I'm done.
Thank you. I didn't even notice.
No, my bad. We got kicked out by her. You guys are good.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah. Because a lot of comments would be like, "Yeah, get up," but I was like, I literally had no idea what was going on. And I was like, wow, this lady is rude, just shouting out in the middle of my jokes. And
that lady was on your side.
Yeah,
that lady was your friend.
Yeah, and so I did hear them when I did the duck joke. I could hear it's like, ooh, someone didn't like that at all. But that was the only time I ever. Because also,
this man knows nothing about duck pussy.
Yeah, I've been, you know, I started 4th of July, and pretty much every show that I've done, it's mostly open mics, and even when it's a show, you know, it's not, you know, some fancy show. So people talking during my set doesn't even register. That's just
You're like, I'm a man of the streets. I'm doing open mics.
Well, yeah, I mean, we go to Secret or the Riot. There's people in the back. No matter where we go, there's people are going to be talking, and so it doesn't really occur to me that that's an issue. And I don't know that I heard it at all anyway.
Okay.
They were right in front of you.
They were right in front of me.
That's why it was obvious to you.
I was gonna smack that bitch.
And so the lady asked them to leave, and they're like, yeah, no problem, we're out of here. And she's like, okay, you could have just left at any point, though. And we wondered why they didn't get kicked out earlier. You wondered that, and then
I knew why.
You knew why?
Oh yeah, I knew.
How could you tell that?
Because we're gonna cut this whole part out. Because they were being an obvious problem. The host was sitting right behind me, and he could also, if he like, and I'm pretty good at context clues. And if I was the host, there's only one reason I wouldn't go and bother somebody if they were being like that, and it's if they were in charge and owned the building. Mm-hmm. That is the only, if like, you know what I'm saying? That's the only logical explanation. And so I thought, I was like, that's probably what it is.
So you figured it out just from the context.
Yeah. I like took a picture of them and wrote, I hate these people on my Snapchat, and I realized that Bear was behind me, and just like anxiety set in, and I was like, oh, it's because and then I don't know why, but I did figure that out because I knew I was gonna get in trouble.
But you didn't get in trouble.
I did it.
I would say neither of us did anything wrong. So there.
I did it. You and me have been getting flack from people not understanding our jokes.
So then after that we went to Mike won a bunch of money apparently. The other people we went with, they what time did they wake up that day? Were they there the night before or something?
No, they got there at 6 a.m.
So yeah, they had to wake up at like 4, and then so they'd been awake for a very long time, and they picked us up at the airport. And after the show, we went to this like pizza buffet or something.
Oh yeah, I hated that place.
Yeah, that was it was a weird place.
All you can eat salad and soup, cheese and lettuce. So just nacho cheese soup.
They had and
popcorn. You could eat popcorn. They had lots of popcorn.
The kitchen is closed, but our all you can eat buffet is open, so you can have that. And like the salad bar was like something out of like a middle school summer camp. Okay. So we're at this fucking pizza place.
And Mike had invited his two friends, or some girl that he used to know.
And then one of her friends.
Call her some girl. She was a nice woman.
She was a nice lady.
They were both nice. Well, they weren't really. They were nice. They were not nice to Mike. They were nice to me. We sat down, and she was like, "You were the funniest person tonight." I was like, "Don't use me in your pawn to try to make Mike feel bad."
She's negging him?
She was negging.
Is that your position?
I think she was negging him by saying I did a good job, which is probably
you were
says
the
more
funniest
about me.
person on stage, and I'm like, I was also there, but you did have the best set.
Remember that guy said that I made him laugh harder than anyone else in Golden, Colorado.
Yes,
I was
in Golden,
what?
Colorado. What is that? Who keeps track of that? What kind of autism is that? Where it's like, this is my loudest laugh in this zip code. Who talks like that?
Our fans.
Your fan. He doesn't know who I am.
It's because you hadn't gone on yet. It was during intermission he came and told me that.
Whatever. Okay, so the point is, some dumb bitches came to the pizza place. No, okay.
Oh my God! Some girls
some very nice ladies
took Mike.
It wasn't meant to be sincere.
Maybe we shouldn't name these people because what if they have hosts?
That's good
Houston?
Because I don't know their names.
I meant Mike and John.
Well, you just named them.
And so they went home with them, and
they went to go party.
And me and Collin and David went back to the hotel, and David was so angry because he just had a rough day of like trying to get the rental car.
The rental
and they
car
were
was
up
fucked up.
since
They've
like
been
4
up
in the
for
morning.
20 hours.
Probably listening to John Yap. That has to hurt. Love you, John. And I don't know. And so we all get in the truck, this ridiculous Dodge,
This
Ram
gigantic
420,
Dodge
whatever.
2500, Dodge Ram 2500 or something like that. It's like, we need a big truck because we're a lot of people. It's like, but there's only 5 seats.
How do you say we're from Texas and not from here from, I don't know, 10 miles away?
It did not fit in at all in Colorado. I get it was the country or whatever. It was a bunch of Subarus. In fact, that was the point of conversation.
The street's not big enough.
And parking was not easy. David had to drive. David did a lot of the shit.
We had tried to get, apparently, Mike was in charge of getting the hotel, and the hotel that he originally booked for us had no power. And so.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And so, like, when we
go to the hotel.
They're like, we don't have power. We can't check you in. And so Mike gets, like, some Motel 6. Like, that's down.
Honestly, it was an upgrade.
It was an upgrade.
First,
from the La Quinta.
it was a La Quinta.
We are never letting people.
What?
Get our hotels
yeah, we're
again.
Okay, so it was a La Quinta. We went to and they had already been there, remember?
Yeah, because
they
got
checked
there
in
at
or
6
whatever.
in the morning.
So they were at La Quinta, and they said, like, oh, we couldn't shower, we couldn't do anything because the hotel's out of power, and so we came to pick y'all up, and now we're going back to the hotel to shower and stuff. And we get there, and there's still no power, and they couldn't believe it. And also, we drove by some sketchy hotels, and they were like, this hotel is way nicer than ours. They kept like elevating the expectations for how shitty it was. And then we got there, and it was like, they were pretty much being honest.
Yeah.
And also I did not have power, which is another bad sign. And the lady was,
astute.
Yeah, I was like, I always say, you want a hotel with power. That's a big deal.
Hey, I'm a big shot.
Yeah. If you're a big shot like me, you stay at a hotel with power. No Kill Tony golden ticket winners staying in a tent. Unless it's a Renaissance fair. Apparently I have to do that now.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Your followers they'll want you to go to the Renaissance Festival.
If I don't come back, you know what happened. I took too many mushrooms. I don't even know if that's, do you take mushrooms or do you eat? Whatever. The point is,
both.
There was no power at the hotel. So we got a different hotel. It was nicer, not by much. It was, we locked the door that night. I'll tell you that.
I know. We locked John out, but then.
Oh yeah. He went to go party and we were like, I remember I was literally about to fall asleep and you were just like, there's only one. This hotel, they only gave us one room key for 3 people.
And they had to take each of our IDs.
Take each of our IDs, but only give us one room key. I don't understand that at all. And then I was literally about to fall asleep, and Tommy just says, because we got back, it's like 1 a.m. We have to wake up in like 4 hours at the most. It was not,
It's me, him, and John in one room, and David and Mike in the other room. And so us two in one room, David, and then David in the other room. And we're waiting for our boys.
And I'm like, and John and Mike are gone, and we have no idea what their plan is. And I'm about to fall asleep, and you just whisper like, John won't be able to get in. And I was just like, I don't know what to do about that.
I put my phone on loud just in case he called, and my phone went off at 4, and I look over and there's no John in the other bed, and I was like,
no messages.
No messages, no
He's
nothing.
Dead.
This is so bad. And never split the party. That is never split the party. But
girls have that rule for a reason.
It's a Dungeons and Dragons rule.
We came together, we're leaving together.
That is true. I've never followed that rule. If you go with me to the club,
you're on your own.
I'm on my own.
Okay. Anyway, so we text David, and he doesn't necessarily respond, or he responds, but like he's not. It doesn't seem super.
Call. I tried to call it first.
Yeah, he doesn't seem super awake. He texted me back, but I think he was sleep texting or something.
I told you he was sleep texting.
Which I didn't believe in that until that day. But I was like, okay, let's just go knock on his door. And so we go to his door, and I was like, is this his room? And you were like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't trust you at all. And so I just sort of like hit the window with like my keys or something.
The creepiest thing in the world. This is the door. He's like,
yes. It's 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. You better wake up. I look at Collin, and I'm too nervous. I'm too anxious to even knock on the door. But once he does this creepy thing, I'd rather him know someone wants to wake him up and not murder him.
Not just drag a hook across the door.
Because I'm now in David's shoes, and I'm like, if someone knocked on my door, I'd be like, oh shit, I gotta go and get on an airplane. If I'm in the middle of Colorado alone in a Motel 6 off the side,
You just hear.
I'm staying silent. I'm freaking out. But yeah, so
you bang on the door, and David eventually wakes up and says thank you, because I was literally about to just oversleep and miss my flight. And so David drives us. We make our flight because we're responsible
for getting
adults.
us to the airport before returning the rental car.
He got us to the airport, and then he returned the rental car, which we appreciate that. And he made it home, and then
our boys did not.
The other two, apparently they.
I got this call. Hold on, let me talk. So we're driving to the airport, and I get a call from Mike, and he sounds like, you know, if you ever like a toddler who's like sleepy and isn't making any sense, that is exactly what he's like. I don't my alarm, and they kept turning off my alarm. Apparently the girl he was with kept oh god, he's gonna hate this. He kept turning off his alarm.
So he had to set an alarm to wake up.
Shit, that is so funny. If I ever was sleeping with like a man or whatever, even if he was on my couch and I just heard his alarm going off from the living room, I would not go just turn it off, be like, this shit's annoying. I'd be like, sir, get the fuck out of my house. Your plane's about to leave without you. You cannot stay here.
Yeah, they were honestly, they were like sirens. I think I compared them to like these two women were sirens, and David V just like, tie me to the mast. We're going, yeah. And then the other two were just like, I'm gonna go over there.
And I was like, I mean, David, happy birthday, David. We're recording this on his birthday. I'm not gonna say I didn't think this prior, but I know now for sure you've got the biggest brain cell up there. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, stiff competition there. But so we made our flight. The other two did they almost make their flight or something?
No, John apparently bought both their tickets, his and Mike, and then checked in for him, but not for Mike. And so Mike was 6 minutes late. And then they got new flights for 8 p.m. that day, but then the lady at the front desk accidentally put it for the wrong day, so they had to take a flight Monday morning.
I think the lady was just fucking with us.
When we were at the beach.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him, I was like, we've had adventures while y'all have been stuck at this airport now for like a day and a half.
Yeah, so they I guess paid their dues. Whatever.
I took Collin to the beach.
She made me go to Galveston.
And we didn't get sunburned, which was, I think, I'm proud.
Yeah, that was a nice day though.
It was very fun. It was cloudy, and like there was nobody there.
There's no one there. The water was a little cold. But it was the last day that it was going to be cold for like 6 months at least.
I taught Collin how to light a joint underneath a towel.
She lit a joint underneath a towel with me in the vicinity. I wouldn't say I learned anything from the experience.
Better watch and learn.
How can I watch? You're under a towel.
Your imagination.
The point is, that was good because that was the day my third Kill Tony Minute aired, and I didn't want to have to be thinking about that.
It's almost like I planned it.
You did not plan it. You literally said you didn't plan it. My God, you should see the look she's giving me right now. Oh, I guess you can. The point is, you said on Monday morning, he's like, I just had this idea. What do you mean you planned it?
Yeah, I had this idea. I wanted to do something that would distract you.
Yeah, okay.
And for us to go do something fun.
I can be a little intense sometimes about this stuff.
What else are we gonna do? Pace in a circle until it came out that night?
I would have found something. We would have been writing. We would have been doing Google Docs stuff or something. Okay, so we go to Galveston, and we come back, and my third minute airs. Third minute was... So I showed up and hung out in the green room. I was the first one there. Got to see a lot of people. And at one point, the green room gets crowded at the mothership. And by the time the show actually starts, it just gets crowded more and more until the show starts. And by the time the show starts, I'm just standing like in the corner by the entrance, as far out of the way as I can, because I don't want to bother people. Because there's nowhere you can sit. All the couches are full, and the drink place.
Just get to the good part. Who fist bumped you after your set?
So I was standing by the door, and this guy comes in, and I can't see his face, but it's Shane Gillis because no one else on earth looks like that. And he's talking to everyone but me, and I'm just, because I've been, like a week ago, okay, there was one thing I said, like someone said, like, Collin, I'm here with Shane, and I was like, Shane who? And it's like I was like, if it's not Shane Gillis, I don't care, don't call me. And then the other thing I said was like, I wonder if Shane Gillis has ever seen my stand-up, because like, I got a golden ticket, I was on the show, it's possible that at some point it he saw it somehow. And I'll say no, I don't think he had ever seen my stand-up, because I remember standing in the green room, and I had to go first because there were no other golden ticket or regulars there yet. So Tony was like, you're going first. And I was like, oh. He said, I'm going to put you in the middle, because that's where, I'm new, you go in the middle. And then no one else was really around, so he was like, you're going first. And so I was like, okay, I'm going first. And so I was standing in the green room, and Shane Gillis is walking around, and I'm like, fucking notice me, fucking look at me, fucking recognize me, something. And then I was like, the show's about to start, I have to go, and whatever. And so I just go down, and my set goes pretty well. I knew my first joke was going to do very well. I wasn't sure about the last two, because the middle one is a little weird. And then the third one, I think the third one's pretty solid. But so set went well. The interview, it was short, and I was a little worried, like, is that weird? But apparently, going first, you're sort of, they've gotten to know you by now. It's more of just an update. It's not as thorough as it otherwise would have been. So I do my whole thing is like 6 minutes or something, and then I go back to the green room. I'm tempted to just leave and go hang out with you at Shakespeare's, but I was like, no, I want to get a Sprite. I want to hang out, I want to watch the show, because I
wanted you to stay.
Yeah, so
I was very happy that you didn't come back.
I go, great, love hearing that. I go back to the green room, and Shane walks in from the balcony, and he doesn't go straight to me, but he was like, I saw your set, you're really funny, or something like that, and he fist bumped me, and I was like, I texted you fucking immediately. Mm-hmm. I was like, be jealous of me, and you were, so okay.
I was proud of you.
Okay, well, if it was the other way around, I would be jealous.
I know you would.
Okay. So that was cool. My 3rd minute is done, and I won't go back for a few weeks. I don't know when sometimes the guests are not in the green room beforehand. I haven't gone enough to know, but like my second time, I didn't see Adam Ray. I didn't see either of the guests before I just came out. And so I didn't know that the guests would hang out in the green room or not. I don't know what the protocol is. But for my 3rd visit, Tim Butterly came up and said, like, I've seen your first 2 visits, you're really funny or something. And that was fucking cool that the guest already knew who I was. That was, and this was the first time I thought when he said my name that the crowd knew who I was. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I'm actually picking up on something, but that's just how I felt. Mm-hmm. So 3rd visit was pretty fun. And we both got sick after that, and we watched American Horror Story together, season 1, which was...
I've seen it before. He's never
She's
seen it.
She recommended it.
I did not. You gave me an option of whether to watch this or some old white man movie, and I don't remember that. I'm gonna pick the one that was directed
by the Glee guy.
By the Glee guy, and you will too every time. Don't let him lie to you. We'll cut it.
Okay, I've watched the first 2 or 3 seasons of Glee. Whatever, I don't care. Maybe I watched them a couple times.
I feel like there's a lie somewhere in there.
The point is, we watched American Horror Story. It sucked. I'll say it would have been very good if it was 6 to 8 episodes. But by the time you get to episode 12, I'm just like, I don't give a shit. Was that our impression? Was that your impression?
I mean, I liked it.
First off, how many rapes occurred in that?
Yeah, that's what I say. It should have been not haunted house. It should be called sex crimes. I forgot about that, and I'm like, all the sex crimes are done by a child, by a dead child. Spoilers.
Came out in 2010.
It came out in 2010. I mean, it's a ridiculous show, but it's fun, and it definitely is like of the time of like kind of stereotypical, and it was fun.
This is fine. I don't know. I might
We're
try
watching
another.
Avatar: The Last Airbender now.
Also her idea, but I've heard
The first one was not my idea. This is my idea. I will take credit. You can tell me it sucks at the end of this, and I will say this is my. I will actually probably not talk to you again if you say that.
I'll keep
But
that
it's
in my
my
back
opinion.
pocket.
I hate McDonald's.
I don't know why she's saying that. I don't know what she's talking about. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're packing a box so my brother lives in Honduras, and we send gigantic boxes of stuff down every few months, and so we've been cleaning and just sending
Purging.
stuff. Yeah. He's actually his wife is pregnant.
You're gonna be an uncle.
Yeah, that's cool. People are like, "What's the gender?" I'm like, I don't know.
He knows nothing.
I don't pay attention. Like, when's it due? Like, I don't know. It's a baby, I think. But yeah, that's cool. I probably will have to go see it.
Yeah,
You know.
I said that to you, and you were like,
It's a-
"Why?" And
it's a girl.
It's a baby.
It's a girl.
It is a girl.
I remember. So it's a girl. I don't know when it's due. It's due in like a month or two.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about getting a vasectomy. Because that's... yeah. My brother was like, my wife's pregnant. I was like, what are you going to do? It's like, I'm going to be happy and raise a family. It's like, oh, okay, that's whatever you want to do. Sure. So shout out to them. I don't know. And meanwhile, you're trying to get me to play video games again, which I have been clean. From video games for, I would say, 2 years. Because I'm not good at half-assing things.
Oh yeah, no. I hyper focus on video games as
Yeah,
well.
it's-
That's you, but
So it
I
is
can teach you
dangerous.
how to do it in a compartmentalized way.
We'll see. You know, Red Band, when I first did Secret Show, Red Band asked me, like, do you play video games? And I was like, no. Like, not at all.
There's like, I don't know, half the male
I think he
comics I know
streams.
have, yeah, I think so too. Like, play video games and play video games a lot, and the other half are like, why am I fucking wasting my time and I can get pussy and do comedy and it's like,
That's me.
yeah.
That's what I say.
But no,
I don't actually say that.
you don't say that.
That would sound insane coming from me.
It would. But I think, like, I mean, it's not a waste of time if you're enjoying something and you're not doing it all the time.
Yeah, I would say in extreme moderation.
You also need to, like, have an outlet of something you're doing just for fun, for the fuck of it, or else your brain is going to burn out and crash. It is important to have outlets. You don't like to play outside.
I play basketball.
Your shoulder's been fucked up.
I played basketball like 2 days ago, and it did okay. I think my shoulder's
Without
doing better. So I fell up the stairs, and
It's hilarious. I didn't see it happen. I heard it happen.
you hear that? You see the way she treats me? So that's I fell up the stairs and fucked up my shoulder. And but I can play video games now, so we can go to Cidercade. I'll beat you in that. Do y'all ever see this Connect 4 basketball game? Okay, there's all these goals, and there's like it's like 7 or something,
Yeah,
and
for
you
each
shoot
of
a
the slots.
basketball, and it bounces. You have to get it in the right, and you play Connect 4. You take turns, and you shoot baskets, and it is the most fun game ever.
It is
Okay.
really fun. He
She don't even like basketball.
I do like basketball.
I don't like basketball. All my teams are about to be eliminated from the playoffs. By the time this comes out, Rockets and Clippers are going to be gone.
Yeah.
Those are really the teams I care about and whatever.
We'll play basketball together.
No, we'll play Connect 4 basketball. So that's what's up with us. What's our future plan? Tomorrow we're going to Lafayette. We're doing another, basically the darkest, I think they call it the darkest hour, which you get to do your most offensive material, which that's...
Yeah, we're both doing 15.
I finally get an excuse to be fatphobic again. And 15 minutes of just the most fatphobic, racist, misogynist jokes ever. I'm honestly more excited about this show than I am about like anything else in my life right now.
I always feel like I do very good with like, especially if it's like, oh, we're talking dark, inappropriate. Welcome.
Yeah, you have some jokes that are depressing. Like, a lot of my jokes are like that too, but like, yeah, some of your jokes I was like,
yeah, yesterday I kept getting my like, oh. And I was like, no. So I think if I'm not in like a really good mood and I deliver some of my jokes, like immediately people get sad. I have to come off as like, nah.
Close out with that story about that guy.
Which guy?
You know my favorite story. The guy you flew up to hang out with them or whatever.
My Colorado story.
Close it out with that.
Okay, we're gonna.
That's about Colorado.
Quickly. Okay, the last time I had went to Colorado was when I was 18 after Hurricane Harvey, because the tickets round trip were only $80 because Houston was underwater, and so I fly out to Colorado to be with see this boy that like it was a will they won't they all of high school. It's freshman year.
So sweet.
And it's so sweet. We go. They have a beautiful public transportation in Colorado, so I take the bus that drops me right off in front of his dorm, and then whenever it's time for me to leave, we like are at the track, and it's like that movie moment of like he's kind of like waving by at me, and I'm like kind of crying with my hand on the window.
But that's not even the worst part. You had to like do that whole goodbye thing.
Oh,
and you missed your flight.
I did.
And then you came back.
We did that whole embarrassing.
And we were like, it's one more night we get to spend together. And then
he carried me on his back all around downtown, and we were drunk because of the elevation. Like I ate a sushi burrito. I learned how to play dice from his roommates.
Never heard from him again.
Never heard from him again.
I used to make her say that all the
time. Never heard from him again.
Okay, so you'll never hear from us again. Bye.